Actually, we're having a good time here with Mr. Reconco. I was close. Dr. O'Day, Dr. Franco, Dr. Urrea. Let's talk a little bit about, define curandero, everybody. What do you think?
Well, curandero, I believe, is a person who uses herbs, who use...
We're talking, no es brujo.
No, using ancient medicine, using ruda, romero, rue, all the kind of herbs, to stimulate the body, to get better.
And Dr. Frank, you say it goes to ancient culture?
Yeah, I think it originated maybe in the small ranches or small towns in Mexico where there wasn't access to care. There weren't any physicians available. Maybe the elderly person there that had a lot of experience with herbs started to treat people locally in the area.
And you had a curandera in your family?
Yes, Teresita Urrea from Sonora, Mexico. Actually had some renown in the early part of the century as a curandera.
Sincerely.
But at those days, they really didn't have access to traditional health care.
You know how I got
herbs
cured?
contain medicine.
What
I'm
is
sure
that
all
thing
cultures have curanderas. Back home, they call him the quack. And the guy literally calls himself, I am the quack.
The quack.
He had a guy
without the negative connotation?
Pardon?
Without the negative connotation?
No, that's the point.
How about that?
They
He called himself
over there.
Listen,
my aunt, one of my aunts went to the quack because she had hip pain and finally discovered that she'd been drinking cow's urine. And it totally freaked her out.
Oh, that would freak me out. What is the cure for an earache where they take a newspaper and they funnel it, y te lo meten en el oído and they light it?
Oh, they call it coning, I think.
Coning?
Coning, I think.
I had that done to me as a kid. Have you ever heard of that one?
I've heard of it.
What's the strangest home remedy you've had enter your office?
I've had, well, into my office, no, but I've had people who told me that in the past, when they were children in Mexico, in small towns like, for instance, San Julian in Guadalajara, I had a patient tell me that she fell and hurt her leg, and she had a huge infection in her leg. She fell into a big pole, like a big hole in the ground, and her grandmother put spider webs on her legs to help her to cure her, to get spider webs.
Yeah. Spider webs were used to help wound healing because they're a really high tensile strength. They're made of collagen, I think, and they stop bleeding. They have a coagulant, a procoagulant, so they stop you from bleeding.
So some of this curanderismo comes based on a fragment of perhaps chemical or biology.
If you consider the fact that the pharmaceutical industry in this country makes their drugs based on plants, right, then there's some credibility to using plants to help in healing people.
But I think the problem with herbal medicine is that if you have a major disorder like diabetes, high blood pressure, hypercholesterolemia, or if you're suffering from cancer, you can't turn to just herbs. Because if you don't control your blood sugar over a long period of time, you're going to end up with renal failure. You're going to end up with problems with your eyes, diabetic retinopathy. You're going to end up with polyneuropathy.
But mainstream medicine waits until
stroke.
You're in deep trouble already. We don't treat the underlying cause. We treat diabetes. Diabetes is an icon. It's a name for a thing. But preceding it by many, many decades is insulin resistance, an extremely common process, especially in Latinos.
Which is what you've been studying specifically.
That's a big deal, and it's enormously common.
One of the big problems with curanderismo is that there isn't any licensure and there's no certification, so you don't know if you're going to someone that's legitimate or someone who's not legitimate.
Not only that, you don't know the quantities of herbs that you're supposed to take, the concentration, and for how long are you supposed to take this, and what are the possible side effects.
And it's unregulated. What about the two
unregulated.
guys from the Angels in the last year, both of whom got bleeding into their brain? That's a very unusual condition. One wonders, were they taking ginkgo biloba or something like that?
Something else. I definitely agree, with your comments. There is a lot of abuse, from these curanderos, in our communities. And I think, Cris, that is very important, for shows like this, to educate our community, to tell them, exactly, like you were saying, maybe they're not getting what they're supposed to be getting.
How much should a good limpia cost? Dr. O'Day says that it's up to $450 now, and I just...
Depends on the consumer and how much the consumer has.
Depends on the consumer, yeah.
Maybe we should define what a limpia is. A lot of people don't know what limpias
spiritual
are.
cleansing. My mother did it to me once.
Cleansing?
Yes, just so you know. The truth is out. She came in with herbs and
but there may be some
I was
validity.
being a bad boy.
Right.
Oh boy, it traumatizes you.
There may be some validity to it.
I'm skeptical.
No, but I mean, it's like a sacrament.
Validity.
If you get the last rites, it's the same thing.
It's like a ritual.
But a priest is ordained, and who knows what this person is? I mean,
but ordained into.
I see no difference.
I mean, the church is an institution that's been around for thousands of years.
It's just mainstream hocus pocus versus off the wall hocus pocus.
But in any case, the process is there for an ordained priest versus who knows who this shaman is.
It's still the abandonment of reason.
This person. I mean, I can put a witch doctor hat on my head, and I'd be a witch doctor. That doesn't make me a witch doctor. You know, it doesn't make me legitimate.
It's just mainstream versus peripheral hocus pocus, but it's still the abandonment of reason.
What do you all think about, let's just give you acupuncture. Let's go about the room. Dr. Urrea?
Well, you know, acupuncture, there are acupuncturists who are certified and who are licensed in the state of California, and there have been studies that have shown that it can help with musculoskeletal problems, with chronic pain, it can help with headaches, and it can help some people with cessation of smoking. So there are some indications that acupuncture can be useful.
Dr. Franco, acupuncture?
I've had one patient, she was a little heavy and she used acupuncture to lose her weight, but she also did what you're supposed to do. She did the dieting, she did the exercising.
Exactly.
Well, of course, you know, maybe she thought that with the acupuncture she had more, I don't know, power within herself to do this, more willpower or something, but she lost the weight. But in addition, when she was going to the acupuncturist, she took herself off of all her antipsychotic medication and she went downhill, you know, into psychosis. So that's why I'm
she looks great, but her life is a mess.
Exactly. I mean, you know, you can't.
And probably the antipsychotic medicine was what made her gain weight.
Who knows?
So hopefully one would in the future get a better form of antipsychotic medicine without as many side effects.
Acupuncture?
I've done it. An anesthesiologist
You've done it, or
at
it's
Suburban
been done
Hospital where you work showed me how to do it, and I've used it for several women with headaches, and their headaches went away within about 10 or 20 seconds. And so, I mean, I'm convinced that it can do things, real things.
Maybe temporarily, like your headache will go away for maybe half a day, but your headache will come right back if you don't, you know, seek the solution, seek the reason why you're having the headaches.
Well, I mean, the general surgery is done in certain parts of Asia with just the use of acupuncture.
Right. I truly believe in acupuncture, you know. Again, if it's used, you know, the right way. But if you can tell, you know, that the problem is deeper, you have to go and search, you know, and look, go beyond, you know, and I say, no, go and see a doctor. Maybe this is not just something simple. But I have seen in many people, Chris, that acupuncture works tremendously.
But too often medicine addresses symptoms and not the underlying cause.
The underlying cause, you have to seek the reason behind
We're going to get
everything.
into that in the next segment, which is underlying cause, et cetera. So we're going to show us your crystals right now, please, Mr. Reconco, and everyone feast your eyes on this. What is it?
Yeah, this is a citrine. This is a very good crystal.
Show me.
Yeah, this is show me. This is a crystal that is
now
used.
You use it with AIDS patients.
I use it with people that have a lot of depression or people with AIDS and HIV. It's very good. As we know, you know, crystals come from the earth. The earth has so much energy. So these are very recharged. So what you do, you know, you can either scan the patient, you know, the person, you go around, you know, or you can actually really ask the person to hold the crystal, you know, and then you can put it in your, you know.
Let's show the pictures of the some of your work with dolphins. We're going to show some pictures here and talk about that, if you may, a little bit.
Sure.
This is, what is this picture right here? That's Flipper.
Yeah, that is, it's Flipper.
Flipper therapy.
Every time that we heard dolphins, we always think of Flipper. Now, I truly believe that dolphins have this powerful healing energy. I have been doing this for over 10 years. I have been doing this all over the world, in Thailand, in Peru, the Bahamas, and all over Central America.
And we're going to see some footage right now as we go out with work. Keep talking.
Yeah,
and
first I was initiated with this type of work by an Australian person. I was invited to a conference where we had one of the workshops was on healing through the energy of the dolphins. And he was working, he's still working with the energy of the dolphin, taking people to swim with dolphins.
Is it sort of like I was saying that they say that cats and dogs can sense when their master is sick?
Exactly. As you can see, if you ever had the opportunity, you know, to get close to it.
We'll be back with more cafe.
Just by being close to the dolphins, you can get this tremendous energy. But that stirs all kind of emotions.
But how many people could afford to swim with the dolphins?
That's another thing.
And how long does it last? Maybe temporarily while you're there with the dolphins, you feel